Listening, summarize spoken text guided practice. Let's begin. This is similar to the summarize text questions in the writing section. In that question type, you see a text on your screen and you have to write a summary of it. However, in this, you will hear an audio and then based upon that, you have to write a summary. Summarize written text is a bit more challenging because you are supposed to write only one sentence. However, here you can write more than one sentence. So it makes it much easier, less chances of a grammatical error, and you can write a bit more. The key thing here is when the audio starts playing, you must take notes. Because you have to write a summary, so you have to understand a lot. You have to take notes, you have to understand and visualize at the same time. And then based upon that, you can construct sentences or write a summary. For each question, you will get 10 minutes. The way we will do this, I'll play the audio for you. After that, you can pause the video and take a total of 10 minutes. Then come back and resume the video. And from that point on, we'll discuss the solution.
There's a lot we can learn from Agbogbloshie, where scrap collected from city and nationwide is brought. For so many of us, our devices are black boxes. We know what they do, but not how they work or what's inside. In Agbogbloshie, people make it their business to know exactly what's inside. Scrap dealers recover copper, aluminum, steel, glass, plastic, and printed circuit boards. It's called urban mining. It's now more efficient for us to mine materials from our waste. There's 10 times more gold, silver, platinum, palladium in 1 ton of our electronics than in 1 ton of ore mined from beneath the surface of the earth. In Agbogbloshie, weight is a form of currency. Devices are dissected to recover materials, parts, and components with incredible attention to detail, down to the aluminum tips of electric plugs. But scrap dealers don't destroy components that are still functional. They supply them to repair workshops like this one in Agbogbloshie and the tens of thousands of technicians across the country that refurbish electrical and electronic equipment and sell them as used products to consumers that may not be able to buy a new television or a new computer.
Now you can pause, write the summary, come back, and after that we'll look at a sample response and also understand how that response was constructed. So this is a sample response. Scrap collected from all over the city and the country is brought to a central place. The scrap dealers here take apart the various objects and take out the precious stuff such as copper, aluminum, gold. But the components that can still be used are not taken apart. They are instead sent to repair shops. All right, so if you hear they talk about a city here where the main work seems to be collecting scrap and taking out the precious materials, and then any components that can be repaired, recycling that. So when I was listening to this audio, I tried to draw a picture in my mind. I saw in various carts and pickup trucks, scrap coming to a place, and then people sitting there breaking into smaller parts, breaking the computer, taking out gold from the circuit boards and all of that. And then I saw, in my mind, I drew a picture that they take the components and send them onwards to the repair shops where they can be reused and sold to others. Very clear, concise picture. And based upon that, then it becomes very easy to describe. So it's almost like describing the scene that I'm seeing in front of my eyes. So scrap collected from all over the city and the country is brought to a central place, etc., etc. This is very simple to write this summary. So you just explain one thing after another. A common mistake a lot of students make, they start with the lecture is about, or the audio is about, or the speaker talks about. You are not supposed to use that format. That is suitable only in the retail lecture. When you do those retail lectures in the speaking section, because specifically there you are asked to explain what the speaker said, retell that. So it's all right, you use that format there, but here you are writing an independent summary. So it's almost like you're writing an independent piece of text which should convey the same information as the audio. Now, once you have understood, visualized, and I've also got the idea that this is about collecting and reusing scrap, then what you do in the text box, you start writing. So essentially, the notes that you have taken or the picture that you have in your mind, you just write a few words for each. So, for example, in the first sentence, my first sentence is going to be about scrap collected, dot, dot, dot. Then, full stop. The next sentence will be take out precious stuff, copper, gold, dot, dot, dot. The third sentence will be components that can be used are recycled, dot, dot, dot. Then after that, so this is like setting, just like when you construct a house, you first set up the frame, right? So it makes everything simpler. So it doesn't go outside the area that you have, and you build it according to the plan. So it's the same thing that you do when you set up a structure first. Now you don't have to again and again think about what do I write? What should I write about? What should I not write about? Then you can just focus on completing those sentences. And in the end, just review, see if you have made any spelling mistakes, grammar mistakes. If you think some point is not very suitable and something else was more important, you can replace or you can add something else, while of course maintaining the word limit. Important thing to keep in mind, this is still a summary question, so you have to focus on the key ideas only. They mentioned the name of the city also. For most of us, it will be difficult to understand the names if we are not very familiar, and then also to write the name correctly. So as you can see in the sample, just avoided writing that. Just said the city. And that's fine because it still conveys the same idea. Once you have done that, make sure that before the 10 minutes run out, you explicitly submit the response.